Good evening, I'm Jessica Bowman.
And I'm Matt Breen. We have learned more about the tragic bus crash in Calhoun County that took place Wednesday morning.
And how the Iowa Lakes Community College and Estherville communities are reacting to that crash involving the college's baseball team. Now, according to the initial crash report released just this afternoon by the Iowa State Patrol, one person was killed when the ILCC baseball team's bus went off the road and rolled several times Wednesday morning. That happened south of Pomeroy, Iowa. Now, the State Patrol says 2 people were ejected from the bus and were trapped underneath it when it stopped rolling.
A total of 32 people on the bus were injured in the crash, in addition to the one person that died. 3 people, they had to be airlifted to hospitals in Des Moines, but they're all expected to survive. The Calhoun County emergency manager declared a mass casualty incident at the crash scene, bringing in help from nearly 3 dozen area law enforcement agencies, fire departments, and ambulance services. In addition to the 3 medical helicopter flights, several other passengers were taken by ambulance to hospitals in nearby towns Sac City, Lake City, and Fort Dodge.
The student athlete killed in the crash has been identified as 19-year-old Carter Johnson, a native of Rapid City, South Dakota. He was a freshman and an outfielder on the Laker baseball team. When our sister station in Sioux Falls this afternoon spoke to Carter's dad, Jeff didn't talk about his son as a player. He also talked about Carter as a person.
He just always cared about people. He always worried about the unfortunate and people less fortunate than him. He was the first kid when he's 6 or 7 years old and a snowstorm would hit, he tried to go shovel older people's driveways in the neighborhood. He was just the best human being ever.
Carter Johnson was a standout athlete playing baseball and football at Stevens High School in Rapid City. That's the video you're seeing here tonight. Though happy for the time he had with his son, Jeff Johnson lamented how unfair it seems that in spite of the difference his son made in the world, that the world will move on without him.
Our Team 4 coverage of this tragedy continues tonight. KTIV's Jason Moeller will have more on the impact of the crash on the Lakers baseball season.
But we begin with KTIV's Taylor Deckard, who's live in Estherville, where college officials offered an update on the crash this afternoon.
Hey Jessica, yes, I am at the baseball field where it's quiet, but I can tell you that it is not empty. A few students a few minutes ago came and dropped off flowers that are now sitting on the field to remember not only a baseball player, but a friend and community member here in Estherville.
To lose a young member of our community, and it's so sad.
It was a quiet day at campus without classes and without one of its students who died in Wednesday's crash.
Carter was a great teammate, a friend, and a valued member of our athletic community.
Grief blankets the Iowa Lakes Community College campus and the community as students and staff try to process the loss of teammate Carter Johnson. Athletic Director Troy Larson says the support is felt beyond the baseball field.
The athletic world is a small world, and we've had so many calls and messages and prayers and support from near and far, from former student athletes to coaches across the country, athletic directors around the country, as well as our local communities have reached out, and we appreciate that more than you could ever imagine.
Estherville residents tell me it's the students that bring the town to life. They love to support any athletic event.
Estherville, they like their softball, and they like their baseball and basketball.
Hearts are heavy, and this community grieves together.
We ask for continued privacy and compassion for Carter's family and for our students in the days ahead. Iowa Lakes is a strong community, and we will walk through this together.
And Matt and Jessica, you said earlier the other students are recovering, but I also learned today that after the incident, many of those student athletes jumped in to try and save their teammate Carter. Iowa State Patrol says students gave Carter CPR. Iowa State Patrol Lieutenant Aaron Schmidt said it's impressive when young student athletes step up and perform that sort of an act on someone. Matt, Jessica.
All right, KTIV's Taylor Deckard live tonight from Estherville. Taylor, thank you.
We turn now to KTIV's Jason Moeller. He's here in studio with us tonight. He has more on the impact of the crash on the Lakers baseball season. Jason?
Matt and Jessica, the status of the Iowa Lakes Community College baseball team season is still up in the air following Wednesday's accident. Now, all 33 people on the bus were injured, 32 players injured, as well as the one who is deceased. The crash devastated the team's roster, not just physically, but mentally as well. Iowa Lakes is offering grief counseling as well as support to all of their student athletes. But when it comes to taking the field this season, that will be up to the team. Now, administrators at Iowa Lakes, they'll be in discussion with coaches and players as they figure out how to move forward with this season. We'll hear from Iowa Lakes Athletic Director Troy Larson later on in sports.
KTV's Jason Moeller with us in studio. Jason, thank you.